The Lanky Beat Show, putting the English Red Rose County of Lancashire on the world's rock and roll map. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to the Lanky Beat Show. We've got a great lineup tonight for you in terms of guests, and a little bit later on we'll be having a good chat to Bill Blackledge from the Wigan Emp, and if some of you might remember that Bill was the leader of the orchestra that was down there. Now then, that doesn't sound very Lanky Beat, but I can assure you, this guy saw it all back in the 60s, and he was there at the Wigan Emp for 15 years. And like I say, he saw the 60s right through up until almost the demise of the Wigan Emp, up to the casino days, and right through its very end. So we'll be having a chat with Bill later. And at the side of him, I've got Tony Bird. He was a member of a band called the P.A.C.T, and that's a capital P, a capital A, a capital C, and a capital T. And they represent the first names of each boy in the band. So again, we'll be finding out a little bit more about Tony and his band way back from the 60s. Meanwhile, we'll get on with the music. And here we go with Teenager in Love from Trisha Lee.
Each time we have a quarrel, it almost breaks my heart, 'cause I am so afraid that we will have to part. Each night I ask the stars up above, why must I be a teenager in love? One day I feel so happy, next day I feel so sad. I guess I learned to take the good with the bad. Each night I ask the stars up above, why must I be a teenager in love? I cried a tear for nobody but you. I'll be a lonely one if you would say we're through. So if you want to make me cry, that won't be so hard to do. And if you should say goodbye, I'll still go on loving you. Each night I ask the stars up above, why must I be a teenager in love? I cried a tear for nobody but you. I'd be a lonely one if you would say we're through. So if you wanna make me cry, that won't be so hard to do. And if you should say goodbye, I'll still go on loving you. Each night I ask the stars up above, why must I be a teenager in love? Why must I be a teenager in love? Why must I be a teenager in love?
Well, this week, ladies and gentlemen, we had a very special week, and a special day in that week was last Tuesday the 27th, was Lancashire Day. And what we've got for you this particular show, Lanky Beat Show 6, would you believe, Diane? That's what we've done. We've done 6 now. We're moving on. But anyway, we've got the Lancashire Day kind of celebration. That's what we'll dedicate the show to. And on we'll go, because on this day in 1295, the first elected representatives from Lancashire were called in to Westminster by King Edward I. They had to attend what later became known as the Model Parliament. The Lancashire Day proclamation, to be read out by town criers throughout the county on the 27th of November. And that's just what they did around Lancashire. Quite a few read them out. I know there was a particular set-up in Southport on Tuesday, and I know it went on quite a few other places in the area as well. So we can celebrate Lancashire Day. We have our own Lancashire flag, and we have our own Lancashire sayings, and we have our own Lancashire food. We've just got about everything, haven't we? And now, of course, we've got Lanky Beat. So we'll take you down now another little road, and we'll go down to the duck pond. And this is with Jerry Sandon, and he's sat over there at the moment, and he says, I'm nursing a cold. I'm not going to say anything tonight. Don't make me talk. Jerry, introduce this one. Come on.
This was originally done by a group called the Cougars, who came from Bristol. A little tune called Saturday Night at the Duck Pond.
Jerry Sandon playing the lead guitar there. And Jerry, when he introduced that, said it was previously done by the Cougars. Well, that wasn't the Cougars version, that was Jerry's version. And I must say, I'm absolutely amazed at it. It's a fantastic piece of playing, Jerry. Well done, matey. Thank you. Absolutely, yeah. No, then let's take you on to another part of Lanky Beat that I've not mentioned much about so far, and that is, about a year ago, I published Lanky Beat, the book. Basically, the book consisted of everything that was on Lanky Beat, the website. It's just a simple but tedious upload for me to actually place everything that was on the website, which is www.lankybeat.com. And don't forget the K's in there. Lanky is with a K, and it's LANKYBEAT.com. And the website is exactly more or less the same as the book. But you can actually buy the book, and it's a sale online. And if you do want to kind of have a look at a copy, they're pretty expensive. Now then, specialist books like this tend to be expensive because self-published, I made sure that it was of the highest quality, and I didn't want any kind of influence by publishers or otherwise anybody other than myself producing this book, because I wanted it the way I wanted it. Now, that you have to pay a price, and I paid a price myself in producing it, which I enjoyed and I love it, and the fact that it's now in an archive in Wigan Museum. It's in Preston Harris Museum, and it's also found its way into the Art Museum, the Haworth Art Museum in Accrington. So there are 3 copies in there, 1 each in there, and anybody can go along anytime, ask for them, and you can have a look at them. So you don't have to buy them, but you have to take the trouble to go down and find out where they are. And you can have a look at that way. But if you do want to buy them, they are for sale on blurb.com, which is www.blurb.com. And if you type in, once you've got in there, Lanky Beat, you should be able to find it. And there are several versions, softback, hardback, the usual thing. And you can also get download apps as well, and ebook reader apps and things like that. So you take your choice, and you can always put them on your smartphones and things like that. So that brings me, that's a bit long-winded really, to get round to where I really wanted to say is Lanky Beat 2 is about to be published. And this is where you can come in by making sure you've got your contributions into me to be included in the book. Now, since I published last year, there are well over 150 bands in there. Well, I'm going to be about another 150 in this particular book. So doubling the amount of bands, plus a whole load of other stuff, like posters and business cards, things of that nature. And the book is going to be another 200-page job, and I'm looking to get it published early next year. I'm on with it at the moment, and so please get your contributions in as early as you can. And you can always email me at bill@lankybeat.com or telephone 08450 94 87 95. Don't worry about that 08 business. It's a cheap, low-cost phone. So wherever you are in the UK, it's a local call charge. So don't worry about that. That's 08450 94 87 95. Thank you for listening for that length of time. I didn't intend that to be quite so long, but anyway, here we go. This is Folsom Prison Blues, track 21 by the Paul Hayes Collection.
Well, I hear a train coming, it's rolling around the bend. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when, 'cause I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, and time keeps dragging on. But that train keeps moving way down to San Antonio. When I was just a baby, my mother told me, son, always be a good boy, don't you ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. When I hear that whistle blow, I hang my head and cry.
Hayes collection. We had his lead guitarist here last week, didn't we, Diane? And very nice gentleman named Golly Goulding, and his lead guitarist. And we had a lovely chat with him. And no, we're going to get Golly back because he only told a quarter of his story. We ran out of time in the end, didn't we? And so we'll get Golly back. And of course, we're looking forward to Lanky Cat's getting Paul Hayes' collection back. He's quite a show, isn't he? He's Paul, leaping around, jumping about, and he gives it absolutely everything. And we're looking forward, like I say, sometime in the new year to having him back at Lanky Cats. Right, okay. Rescue Me was a song by Fontella Bass. Listen to this version from the 60s Gems from Accrington. This is Natasha Harper. Wonderful. That's Natasha. She amazes me. Her voice so flexible and so suitable for so many different styles of singing. And Natasha, that's fantastic. We've played over the last 5 or 6 sessions that we've done with the Lanky Beat Show. We played each time. We played a track from the 60s Gems CD, and we've thoroughly enjoyed every one. We've played every one of them now, which is a shame because maybe have to start playing them all over again. Do another one. Each one the next few weeks. I don't know yet, but meanwhile, what we've got next for you comes straight from the Hart. I've been given a CD by a guy from Liverpool called Mal Jefferson. Now then, he had a quadruple bypass operation, which is pretty horrendous, I'm told, and I don't think many people look forward to having triple bypass and quadruple bypass operations. But he did. He's come out the other end, and he decided to put together a CD with 20 tracks on it, and every track is a cover. And every track has the name in the title of Hart. Now then, can you name a title of a song with the name Hart in it?
Heart on my sleeve.
Heart on my sleeve?
Heartbeat.
Heartbeat?
Anyone who had a heart.
Anyone who had a heart?
Heartbreaker.
Heartbreaker. There's Wooden Heart. What about that one? Unchain My Heart.
Should I poison arrow hit my eye?
Yeah. Heartbreak Hill. That's when heartaches begin. Well, he's put this together as a kind of a charity type CD where he hopes everyone will go out and buy it, and then they can put money into the Hart Foundation and to the hospital in Liverpool that has actually did the operation for Mal and made a successful job of it. And I'm told that the first track on the album is called Mending My Heart, and it was sung by the staff and the patients at the hospital, and it is played during or after, should I say, not during, but after each successful operation by the surgeons. How about that for a nice little story? It's something fantastic.
Thank you very much for mending my heart. Thank you very much, thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much for mending my heart. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much for the lovely nurses. Thank you very much, thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much for the lovely nurses. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much for the old tea trolley. Thank you very much, thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much for the old tea trolley.
Love.
Thank you very much, thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much for
Blood.
Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much for mending my heart. Thank you very much, thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much for mending my heart.
Keeping calm.
No false alarm.
For being nice.
Good advice.
Love and care.
Everywhere.
The heart and chest.
The very best. Thank you very much, thank you very, 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 very much. It was simply spiffy and true. Now let me whisper, I love you. Thank you very much for the extra years. Thank you very much, thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much for the extra years. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much for the heart of chairs. Thank you very much, thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much, you are the best. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much for our gracious team. Thank you very much, thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much for our gracious team. Thank you very, very,
Much. That is amazing. It's a bit of a fun get-together type song, and definitely in aid of a definite worthy cause. If you'd like a copy of that, I'm not quite sure how much it will cost, but if you fancy a copy of that particular CD, you can always get in touch with me, bill@lankybeat.com, and I'll put you in touch with Mal. And Mal will, I'm sure, be very delighted to send you a copy. And another thing about Mal as well, he's ran the Liverpool Rock and Roll Society for a number of years, and they're looking for new premises, and they found it in Birkdale. And last night he opened up what he calls Birkdale Beat, and he's looking to do exactly what Lanky Cats are doing, Mersey Cats are doing, Mersey Rats are doing, Cheshire Cats are doing, putting rock and roll nights on for as little as £1 with guest bands from all over. And I went down last night and he'd kicked it all off, and everything has a slow start. I remember Lanky Cats when it first started. We didn't have many in, did we, boys? We were scratching bands together and scratching equipment together, and that's what they were doing last night. And it takes a while, but now we can obviously say that Lanky Cats is a great success story. So we hope and wish Mal the very, very best with his new enterprise of Birkdale Beat. I'm moving on to a band of mine now, an old band of mine called Tinfoil. We produced 4 tracks in the earlier days, about 1969 on a EP, but I wasn't on it. I'd left by then, but I never rejoined them afterwards, so that in between time they made this particular CD, or as it was then, it wasn't a CD, of course, it was a 45 EP, not CD. And anyway, that's what they did, and this particular track is called Funny Funny. Well, that's my old band, and we evolved from the Shims. We were the Shims originally, and I played in that. And when I left the Shims to join Mike Hurst and the Trekkers, they were from Preston. They changed the name to Tinfoil, and then they went on to put that EP together with 4 tracks on it, and a pleasant little job they did of that too. Okay, in a few minutes' time, and after the next song, we will be introducing Tony Bird. Tony is a member of the P.A.C.T. And just say a quick hello before we play this next track, Tony.
Hiya.
Come on, a little bit more than that. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. You don't have to
Welcome
repeat
to the
what I
Lanky
said.
Beat Show.
Hey, that's nice. That's nice. Okay, we'll have a little chat with Tony in a few minutes' time. So, and we're going to go now and have a nice cup of tea.
I'm innocent. You were playing.
Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin if I can't help falling in love with you? Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too. For I can't help falling in love with you. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you. Oh, I can't help falling in love with you. Yeah, you.
Jimbo's revival. Jimbo is due to come to Lanky Cats next June. We'll have to wait all that time, but he does happen to live in Denmark, so it's not a matter of being able to just nip up the M6 a couple of junctions like these two have done tonight with Jerry from Standish, and Bill's even walked it from round the corner, haven't you, Bill? And his glasses steamed up while he was on his way, so it's round the corner. And I've got with me as well Tony Bird. Welcome again, Tony, and nice of you to turn up here on the Lanky Beat
Oh,
Show.
I'm glad to be here.
And I'm just trolling through here on the Lanky Beat website on your page with the band called the P.A.C.T. And so what we'll do, we'll first of all start with that very, very unusual name, because the letters P.A.C.T. are all in capital letters. You're always advertised as the P.A.C.T. in capital letters. Tell us all about that.
Well, we used to go on stage, be like that. Used to be Peter, I used to be there, then Cyril, and then Tom. You know,
Peter.
We did that before Anton
Yeah.
Deck.
You missed one out there.
Yeah.
Peter, Anthony, which is Tony,
Yeah.
Cyril,
and Tom.
and Tom, the
that,
P.A.C.T.
that was our original name, but we never changed it when Alex came as lead singer.
Yeah, because he was an A as well.
He was an A as well, so
So-
it could have been P-double-A-C-T.
Very good.
But we never We never altered the name.
So that's how you came in.
Yeah.
And so what year were the P.A.C.T? What they came about?
Oh, it's 65. How we started off.
Yeah.
Was I worked in the market hall, Green and Sons Butchers.
All right.
And a lad who I'd started with, he said, I'm going to the Emp tonight, the Beat Boys are on, they coming. I said, oh, I've never seen it. I said, in fact, I've never seen a live band. So up we went, it was on a Monday night, and when we got in, Bill Blackledge and his orchestra was on stage, and I was stood there watching them, and I thought, yeah, it's alright this, but I'm not keen on tunes he's playing, like Glenn Miller and stuff. And then they introduced the Beat Boys, and I went, wow. They were just absolutely fantastic. And I think that group influenced every one of the Lanky cats. They were just absolutely brilliant. And I thought, I've got to be in a group. I've got to do something like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to go about it.
I know.
And nothing happened for 12 months. And then two brothers who we worked with in the market, they formed a group. And they called themselves Jason and the Argonauts. The film that had just come out. So after a short while, they took a booking in the Manly pub in Manly Street in Ince. And I said, you're going on a bit soon, aren't you? No, we're all right. So they got booed off stage.
Well, you have to start somewhere.
They got booed off. So when they came in the following morning, all their instruments was up for sale. So I went home that night and said to my mum, can you lend me some money? She said, what for? I said, I won't buy a drum kit. I said, Peter's gas, because he worked in the market as well, Peter. And he said, Peter, I said, and Cyril from across the road who we're mates with, they're buying two of the guitars. I said, so I won't buy the drums. My mum and dad said, all right, it's your Christmas present. So the mum and dad gave me the money. There was only a starter kit. And then my mum was talking to the old lady next door, and she said, they can practice in my bedroom. I've a spare bedroom empty.
She was risking it, wasn't she?
Yeah, well, she said, I am a bit deaf, so it doesn't bother me.
Very good.
Yeah. So we started to practice, and then we went round to Tom. We knew Tom played guitar. I mean, where I live, Peter lived 30 yards one way, Cyril lived 30 yards the other way, and Tom lived 100 yards round the corner. And we went round to Tom, and he'd been playing the longest. And we decided to get together in Mrs. Lover's bedroom, and we started playing and practising. We always finished for 9 o'clock. None of the neighbours ever complained about the noise.
Right.
Nobody ever complained, and just encouraged us.
Yeah.
And then as we started getting better and better, we did a few charities, and we thought we're getting ready now for bookings. So I thought, my drum kit's not big enough, not good enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went to my mum and dad again. They said, all right, this will be your Christmas present again. So they bought me the kit I've still got to this day. And we did a charity. Well, Peter's father-in-law ran Shevington Youth Club. He used to have things in the village hall, and we played there. We did a couple of charities, and then we was on with Marcus and the Trekkers, who came to do a charity to raise money to build Shevington Youth Club, which they did. And Marcus encouraged us and said, we'll get you an audition with William Leyland, which they did. And we auditioned at the Beachcomber, which he says, I'll get you some
that was
work.
Underneath the Wigan Casino,
Wigan
wasn't
Casino,
it?
yeah.
Oh, well, it wasn't called Wigan Casino then, Wigan Emp then.
It was still the
and
Emp,
it was evolving into Wigan Casino. We'll chat about Bill about that later, about that came to be. Yeah, so underneath
he said he'd give us work. So the first booking, it was a pub in Runcorn. The second booking, Wigan Casino, supporting Marcus and the Trekkers and Sandy Shaw, the Eurovision Song Contest winner. Well, we were nervous. The casino was absolutely jam-packed to the rafters. Marcus said, do you want to use our PA system? So I said, oh yeah, because we didn't have a decent PA system. He said, I'll set it up for you, because Doug Larby, he was coming later on.
Doug, and we'll be seeing Doug in the new year.
He used to set the sound equipment up.
He did.
But he was only coming later. So they introduced us, the curtains opened up, and all the mics started feeding back as loud as anything, and we just froze. I've never been as frightened in all my life. We were just absolute rubbish. I was playing with drums with stiff arms like that. Oh, it was the most frightening experience I've ever had in my life. Well, then we just progressed from there.
You just get over it though.
Oh,
don't
you do.
You have to do that in a way.
If my start feeling back now, you just say you just put the kettle on, or something like that.
Yeah.
We later supported PJ Proby, which he sat on my drums too.
And you have a claim to fame with PJ Proby there, haven't you?
Oh, I nearly had a fight with his manager.
Go on, tell us about that.
Well, we went on stage first. We came off, and in the casino there was a small area where the electrician was. Then there was a small dressing room, and there was a posh dressing room down the other end, wasn't there, for the stars,
for the superstars,
for the
Shirley
superstars.
Bassey dressing room.
So we came off stage. I went in the little dressing room, and when I came out, this fella's got me drums too. I said, "Oi, what are you doing with that?" He said, "We need it for PJ." I said, "I don't care if you need it for the Queen Mother." I said, "Have you never thought of asking?" I said, "That's mine." He said, "It needs a stool to stand on." I said, "That's a squat stool, that." I said, "There's only 3 legs on that." So he said, "Well, can you do it for us?" So we extended it, and there was like a pin what used to go through the holes to adjust the height.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't go in. He said, "Get a hammer." I said, "Use hammer on that, I'll use it on your head." I said, "For heaven's sake." So anyway, we got it in, and then PJ Proby came round then from the posh dressing room, and I said, "Look at this." I said, "It rocks." I said, "You won't be able to stand and sit on that. It's a squat stool." "I'll be okay, man, I'll be okay," he said in that accent. And anyway, he goes on stage, and I said, "I'll go and watch this." So I went round to the front of the stage, and it's come his second song for Do a Ballad, and he went on. Then the stool went over, he nearly fell, and I said, "I told you," and if flutes could kill, I'd have been stone dead.
Yeah, definitely. So that's your claim to fame with PJ Proby.
It is, but he came and apologised to me after.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he said, "I'm sorry about that, you did warn me," he said.
Did.
Yeah, we shook hands, yeah.
Right, fantastic. That's great. These are the stories, aren't they?
Oh,
They're just fantastic. I mean, and have you still got that same stool?
No, I give it to there was a young lad starting off 20 odd years ago, and he'd no stool, and he'd no cymbal stand. So I give him a cymbal stand and my stool, and I think, I give him one of my cymbals as well, because I never thought I'd ever be playing them again.
Right. Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, I mean that's a real nice opening shot or two that for us, because what we're going to do is just play another track in between time, let us get our breath back, and then we'll return with more stories from Tony just after this.
Come on, everybody, and let's get together tonight. I got some money in my jeans, and I'm really gonna spend it right. I've been a touring my home all a week long, and now the house is empty and my folks are gone. Woo! Come on, everybody. I want my baby's number one, but I'm gonna dance it free for. And the house will be shaking from the bare feet slapping on the floor. Well, when you hear the music, you just can't sit still. If your brother won't rock, and your sister will. Woo! Come on, everybody. We gotta put a guard outside. If my folks come home, I'm afraid they're gonna have my eye. There'll be no more
No more running around with the usual crew. Who cares? Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody.
57 Chevy from Leyland. Come on, everybody. And come on, everybody, listen to what Tony Bird has got to say. Fascinating stories, Tony, and I believe you've got a few more for us, and something about an ice rink in Runcorn.
Formby Ice Rink.
Yeah,
Formby
Ice Rink.
Formby Ice Rink,
Oh,
yes.
right.
We got a call late in the afternoon. Could you do Formby Ice Rink tonight? Because the group that was booked couldn't make it. So we said, yeah, we can do that. So we packed the van and off we shot. And people started staring at us when we got outside. And they said, who are you? And I said, well, the P.A.C.T. We've not come to see you. We've come to see the wheels. Oh, for goodness sake. They hated us before we got out of the van. I mean, the wheels hit Wigan, hit the northwest. They came from Ireland.
Yeah.
They hit Wigan like northwest, like a bomb. Everybody was talking about it. I saw them at Wigan Casino. They was absolutely brilliant band. And they was booked for Formby Ice Rink, and we turned up. So they hated. I know it was an ice rink, but the frostiest reception we've ever had anywhere.
I know.
And they just hated us before we got out of the van.
And I mean, the Wheels, they're originally from Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
They based themselves in Blackpool, and then kind of commenced to rip the place apart, because they had a different style altogether. They went for the blues, didn't they? There was these guys who were pure rhythm and blues. Never mind this pop stuff. The nearest they got to pop music was recording Gloria, didn't they?
Well, that's where they went.
Yeah.
That's why they didn't turn up. They'd gone down to London to record Top of the Pops with the song Gloria
by Van Morrison, who made the hit out of it anyway.
Yeah.
And it was usual in the days to kind of copy and cover other people's songs. And you could have 2 and 3 songs, couldn't you, in the same chart, done by 3 different artists. So
the following day we rang the agency up and said, thanks very much for last night. You could have told us who we were replacing. They said, if we'd have told you, you might not have gone. I said, that's true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know, and it's another, like I say, fascinating little stories. And what about other things that you might have in mind to tell us all about?
Other memorable occasion was the US Air Force bases.
Oh,
yeah.
Everybody's got a story about the US Air Force bases. The one at Burton Wood?
No, that we did that second. We did the one at Burton-on-Trent.
Burton-on-Trent, right.
And it was right in the middle of nowhere. It took us ages to find it.
Well, it was an airfield, wasn't it? I mean, they're usually in middle of nowhere, aren't they?
We got there at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
There's this sergeant at arms. He was massive. He was 6'14". He was.
Yeah.
Stood at the gate. Man, where have you been? I said, we've come a long way. We didn't know where it was. I said, we got lost. I said, but he said, well, you're here now. In you go. He said, anything you need, I'm your man.
Right.
I said, oh, smashing. So there was no stage. There was this long room with a bar in it. And we set up in the corner. We did our first spot. And then the sergeant at arms came to me. Man, you play a great sound on those drums. How about a drum solo? I said, I don't do a drum solo. Man, how about a drum solo? He said, is this mic working? I said, yeah. So he got on the microphone. Anyone in this room want to hear a drum solo? They all, yeah. All the room was cheering, yeah, drum solo. So he came back and picked me up, literally, off the chair I was sitting on, and took me back to my drums and sat me down on the drums and said, now we will have a drum solo. So I did my best, and the whole room went to the biggest cheer I've ever had in my life. And then there was all coming across with drinks after. Man, that was great. Have a drink on me.
I know.
Oh.
And it was just, they were just a big thing about drum solos those days. I know Bill sat patiently over there listening to this, because I mean, I remember watching Bill Blackledge band and these drummers he used to have with him.
Well, Oggy was just sensational.
Oh, absolutely.
It was just-
Sensational is an
yeah.
understatement.
It was brilliant,
Oh,
Oggy.
I know. And
Absolutely brilliant.
There's no doubt about it. A fantastic drum solo was a showstopper. There's no doubt about that. And I've got another little story that I'm picking up here about this at the New Century Hall in Manchester, where you had a love affair. Is that right?
Yes.
Oh no, it was a band love affair. That's it. Yeah.
3 hits at number one, yeah.
Yeah, number one.
Yeah, well, we turned up, and when we got there, New Century Hall in Manchester, we saw this van outside full of graffiti all over it, but we could make out the words "Love Affair" underneath the graffiti. So we thought, oh, this is going to be a good night. 3 hits at number one. And when we went in, they said, what size is your PA system? I said, 100 watt. I said, oh, that's not big enough. He said, you'll have to use ours. I said, how big's that? I said, 300 watt. I said, oh, flaming out. I said, how big's this place then? And anyway, we went on. We did a one hour spot, and we went down an absolute bomb.
Yeah.
And the girls were screaming after us. We had to run for the van at the end of the night, and we was coming back down the East Lancs Road, and Tom said, "Did you pick the money up?" Oh, sugar! I said, we went down
What,
that
you forgot
road.
to
We
get
were so
paid?
excited, I forgot to go and get the money.
Forgot to get paid.
So-
What about that?
Well, we only got it came through about 3 months later. William got it for us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's no, that's not.
I mean, it was so on a high.
Yeah,
because it never entered my head to
absolutely.
go and get
And
paid.
doesn't it have to tell you what it was all about? The buzz of playing. You know,
Yeah.
you just
Oh,
get that
yeah.
adrenaline going,
Yeah.
and everything else goes shoots out the window.
Well,
Doesn't
when
it?
a crowd's applauding you, shouting for more, you don't get a better feeling than that.
Absolutely,
It's
not,
fantastic.
Absolutely not, and it's just a fantastic experience, and we're enjoying it all over again, aren't we? At,
Yeah.
Lanky Cats.
Oh,
I
come
mean,
to Lanky
Tony,
Cats.
you
It's
did,
absolutely brilliant.
You pulled your drum kit out, didn't you? Out of the loft.
Out of the loft.
About this time last year, wasn't it? When you
Yeah,
think about
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You've been
Well,
coming down.
my daughter had been asking me for 30 years to get my drums out the attic.
Yeah.
And she sent you an email, didn't she?
This is it.
She said to Bill, "What have you got that I've not got?" She said, "I've been asking my dad for 30 years to get his drums out the attic." He said, "Only get some down for you." And but to have a 40-year gap going on stage again, and when we had the first meeting of Lanky Cats, I said I've not played since 1972, and Bill said, "Don't worry about that, we'll have you on stage by Christmas," and they did. And it's just been brilliant. The Lanky Cats experience is just absolutely brilliant.
I know. And Tony runs the door for us. I mean,
Yeah, nobody gets past me without paying a pound.
Nobody gets past Tony. It's without giving him a pound. That's what his nickname is. You know, that's it. Tony, you don't get past me without paying me a pound. Bird. That's it. How about that?
Aye, you
That's
christened
it.
me that, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we'll take it on and go on to something. I'm another little track here, and hope that Diane does get over a little coughing spell. I hope it doesn't spoil your enjoyment. And are you okay, Diane? Are you going to be okay? Well, I've come to a kind of stage in my life, another little watershed, and we all reach them in our lives, don't we? And when I turned 60, which was 300 years ago, it seems, that was, what was it now? It was nearly 6 years ago. I'm about to enjoy my 66th birthday coming up next month. I got a nice birthday present off a colleague of mine, a band colleague called Jack, and he said, "Here, Bill, here's an envelope, and there's your present for your 60th birthday." And I opened it, and it was a letter saying, "Turn up at the recording studio in Lancaster, and we have got a paid session for you and me to produce 2 tracks on the day." So that's what we did. We turned up. We'd written 2 songs just before we went in, and we did them right from scratch on the day. And it didn't quite get finished in terms of mastering and mixing, which is a mystery to me what all that means. But anyway, you clever ones out there will know all about it, but I don't know much about it. But we put these 2 songs down. And then, of course, like anything else, it inspires, doesn't it? we need to go on and do more. And I'd got hooked by then. So anyway, we've been going in and out of the studio, not very often, maybe once a year on occasions, but we've finally come up with our CD. And with 12 tracks on it, all self-penned between me and Jack. He's written one or two, I've written one or two, and we've got the thing here with us. And I'm going to play you a track that I have particularly wrote, and it was about an affliction that I've had most of my life, and it's called the Big D, if anybody knows all about the Big D in terms of afflictions. And I'll give you another word for it: depression. And I've suffered from depression on and off over the years, and a lot of people have and will if they haven't done already, and I wrote a song about it. And it was all the negative bits in my life that what I don't do, and that's what I call the song. I don't do. I don't do mornings, I don't do day, I don't do anything, I just make tidal waves. I don't do honey, I don't do wine, I don't do anything, I feel I've served my time. I don't do clever, I don't do dumb, I don't do anything, I just sit on my thumb. I don't do heavy, I don't do light, I don't do anything, I just gave up the fight. I do loving, I do fine, I do lots of things, I've told your line.
I don't, I can't, I won't. I do, I don't, I can't, I won't.
I don't do living, I don't do die, I don't do anything, I just can't throw the dice. I do loving, I do fine, I do lots of things, I told your lie.
I don't, I can't, I won't. I do, I don't, I can't, I won't.
I Don't Do by Hart Carney. That's the little band that we've formed. I say a little band, it's a duo really, and we play all the instruments between us, we write all the words, we compose all the music, and we go along to the studio in Lancaster, Shire's Head Studio if you're interested. Top professional studio, top professional sound engineer in Mick Armistead, and thank you to Mick for such a wonderful patience, because boy oh boy do these sound engineers need it, and I'm sure we pushed him to the limit at times, but such is the intensity of a recording studio sometimes. That's how it happens. Tension, joy, passion, you name it, all the emotions are there, and we're so pleased to have I've got our 12-track CD, and we've called the CD Ta-da! You get it. Ta-da! We've done it. You know, it's like the expression. So that's what we've called it. And it's not particularly for resale, it's just a fun thing we've done for ourselves. But if anybody does want a copy, obviously, I'll be happy to send them one if they'll donate a little bit of cash to our charitable causes and our charities that we support at Lanky Cats. And the next one we're doing is at Christmas, 27th of December, Thursday night, and we're doing a big charity for Derrion House in Chorley. 5 bands, and the details of which I will get back to you on the 13th of December, which is our next scheduled programme recording. And we'll be looking forward to meeting a guy called Damon Noon. And that's a famous surname, that is, Noon, because his brother is named Peter. And Peter Noon is Herman of the Hermits. So I'll be looking forward to meeting Damon and telling us a little bit about his life and how he goes on with having such a famous brother in his midst. So there you go. Well, we've been talking to Tony Bird. Very, very, very entertaining, Tony. He made us laugh a little bit and got that excitement going and brought us up to date with your rehabilitation back to drumming via Lanky Cats. Fantastic. So thank you very much for that. And Bill, you've been very patient. Bill Blackledge.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening to you, and lovely to see you again. It was about a year ago I last saw you. You came up to Lanky Cat's first ever meeting because that's the kind of guy he is. He wanted to see all the rock and rollers getting back together because this fella saw them all. He worked with them all. He was band leader of the Bill Blackledge Orchestra for 15 odd years, perhaps a little bit before that. Now that's by way of an introduction. I'm not going to say much more about that because I'm going to let him explain it himself, how he came to be at the Wigan Emp when such things happened, like a little band came up from London one night and they stormed Wigan Emp, and Bill got the job of introducing this band to the crowd, and what a crowd it was. Anyway, that band was the Rolling Stones, but I'll let you tell us about that story in a minute. Bill, where did it all start as far as the Wigan Emp was concerned?
As far as Wigan Emp is concerned, that was 8 to 10 years into the music business.
Yeah.
You don't start at the Empress.
I know. So you want to go back before that?
Prior to that, cut it short, my father brought a piano accordion back from Italy, 1944, something like that. He wanted to learn to play it. He was too embarrassed to go himself, so he sent me. I was about 8 or 9 years old.
How come you're embarrassed about playing an instrument?
He was embarrassed because the only person that taught piano accordion was the guy he drank with at the pub.
Oh, right.
So he didn't want to embarrass.
Was it
himself.
not macho or something to play an accordion? What was macho? Playing a trumpet?
I don't know. Anyway,
yeah.
It's my start into music.
Yeah.
Going for piano accordion lessons, and I can remember the accordion was too heavy for me to carry, so Mother used to carry it and then walk round the block for 3/4 of an hour while I had the lesson.
How old were you about this time?
About 8 or 9.
8 or 9 years old, yeah. Right.
8 or 9 years old.
Yeah.
And that would be 1944, going on 45 probably.
Right.
And life just went on. I was a normal kid, went to Sacred Heart School.
Yeah.
Enjoyed going to school. I seemed to be one of the few people who enjoyed going to school.
Yeah. Did you do any music at school?
Yes, that's. I wish I hadn't said that because I was the one guy who was thrown out of the choir because I couldn't sing in tune.
Oh, right, brilliant.
Yes, that was sorted out.
That's a brilliant start to your musical career, getting thrown out of the choir.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
So they said, Bill Blackledge, you're the one that's singing out of tune. out. And
Yeah.
so that was that.
Well,
wasn't it?
if one sings out of tune, it's all out of tune, isn't it? I
Exactly.
mean, you can't have
Exactly.
somebody, even 1 out of 100, singing out of tune because it's all out. Yeah, yeah, I understand.
So that wasn't an auspicious start.
Yeah,
But I also had friends that were musicians who were starting the same as myself.
yeah,
A young guy playing the piano, and then the guy next door but one was a trumpet player, and the guy across the road was a trumpet player, learning. They were kids. I mean, they're my age, a bit older than me. And then the trumpet player, I don't know why we got together, but we played trumpet and piano accordion. It doesn't sound right. By that time, my father had got good enough, so we bought we had two piano accordions. And so we played duet, and it became more fun then. Play.
yeah,
I practiced more.
yeah, yeah.
Because I was reluctant practicer, like most people who have children, they want to play piano. They say, play piano, and they play for an hour every now and again, and that's not the way to play. But once we got playing together, it became more fun. Then we got a drummer, and then we finished up with piano, drums, piano accordion and trumpet, and that's how I basically started upstairs in a pub.
Yeah.
Because the pianist lived in a pub.
Right.
He also
Yeah.
had a good Meccano set. I used to go and play with his Meccano set. And the guy just the other side of the bowling green had a good train set. And I was always an engineer at Hart, so the train sets and Meccanos all came together nicely. But then, after a while, and I really did enjoy playing, there came a point where the manager of the pub, who was the pianist's father, said, "You lads don't seem to be going very far.
Yeah.
I've had a word with a guy called Bob Stewart," he said. "He teaches music, saxophone or something," he said. I've asked him to come down and have a listen to you. And he came down, he had a lesson, and he didn't say much, and then he went off. And the following Thursday, 5 saxophones turned up, another 2 trumpets, a trombone, and music. And I thought, this is still good, isn't it? Anyway, after 2 weeks again, he said, "I'm sorry, Bill," he said, "piano accordion doesn't fit in." He said, "I really need a bass player." So he pulled me.
You were sacked again?
So I was basically threatened with the sack, except he said, "Now, if you get a bass," he said, "I don't play that." He said, "You'll never be able to work with a bass, you know." And I thought, well, I've just spent 6 years learning to play this. Anyway, I was keen. I'd really got the bug then. I'd really got the bug as a band. There's nothing like a band that gets you excited,
No.
it gets you interested.
Yeah.
It was good. I look forward to the Thursday night anyway. He'd obviously worked on it, so he said to me, I know where there's a bass for sale," he said. "Tommy Almond at Holiday Dance has got 2 basses. I've had a word with him," he said. "He'll sell it you for 12 quid. Which I thought was all right. 12 quid. I didn't want to play bass, but I wanted to stay with the band, and so I talked my father and my grandfather into putting it together, and we went and we finished up with a double bass.
Yeah, a double bass. And I think
Double
most people
bass, a
understand
big
a bass to be a
double
bass
bass.
guitar. Yeah.
And then on the Saturday morning I went to the music shop, which was in Chamberlain's in Wigan, right at the
Yeah.
bottom, and bought a book how to play the double bass, which cost 1 and 6pence, a little green book, I can still see it now. And chalked the bass where the markings were and started to
Feeling
practice.
your way.
Feel it away. Finished up
Yeah.
3 months later with blood blisters on all of my fingers and tears in my eyes, but
Yeah.
started fitting in with the band.
So no gain without pain. Is that,
That
what-
was definitely the
I think
case
that-
as far as the
it's a-
bass was concerned.
For any musical instrument, there's a lot of hard graft behind any musical instrument. And if you're ever thinking of playing something, any instrument, don't think it's going to be easy, because it's not, and you have to push through that pain barrier, whether it's physical pain in your case and psychological pain.
Yes.
I mean, the giving up must be very, very strong. "Oh, I can't be bothered with this," giving up. But the rewards that come back to you throughout the rest of your life are immeasurable. aren't we? And that is what we're taking you on to now, because you formed this. You played in a band, then you took over the band, and that's how you did it. And when we say a band, we mean trumpets, saxophones, piano, double bass, playing dance site music like quick steps and foxtrots.
There was a lot of quick steps from that point.
Yeah.
I've just left it off there, just practicing bass.
Yeah.
Just quickly running through.
Yeah.
I remember the first gig I ever did
Yeah.
was with a guy called Royston Owen. His father had Owen and Owen's, the fruit shop in the end of Woodstock Street,
Owen Owen,
which has now been built over.
Never understood why there was two Owen Owens, you know, an Owen and Owen together. Yeah.
There was, well, his name was Owen Owen, and his son was Royston, and that was the first gig, and that became because of the drummer, Ken Prescott. And he had a friend who was a guitarist, and so we were a little quartet, and we played Ince Public Hall. Was the first gig I ever played where I got paid.
Oh goodness me!
Paid £30, and I thought, this is brilliant. This is how I want to earn a living, and it just grew from there. And then from there I went to Wigan Baths, which was boarded over in winter. Of course, we're still in the they boarded the Wigan Baths over, and they had dances there.
They had dances on the band over the baths.
Yeah.
Did they empty the pool?
And that was the Colin Moore band. That was Colin Moore band. And just I tell you that Colin Moore, because he's still playing trumpet now, and he's 83.
Excellent.
Excellent.
See, it's in your blood forever.
And that was in the winter. And then, as the winter's finished, the bass player at the Court Hall, his name was just forget his name, but he became instrumental in me getting seriously into music. And I went to the Court Hall.
Yeah, that's a Wigan Court.
This was about 52 then. In between, I'd played with quartets, and practiced bands, and all kinds of things. But it was all experience, and you're learning all the time.
Absolutely, yeah.
Went to the Court Hall, and just at that stage, after I'd been there about 9 months, they were opening Lee Casino.
Yeah.
And the trumpet player, who happened to be the trumpet player who I lived across the road from, Les Martindale, fancied running his own 12-piece bands. So he put a band together to go to the audition to get the job. Of course, Billy found out what was going on, sacked Les. Then he heard that I'd been with him, and I was only doing Les a favour, and he sacked me as well.
Again, that's three sackings.
So I've not been sacked from the Court Hall. and then I thought, well, I'm out of work. And then I got a gig in Ashton. And you can imagine in them days, I had no car.
That's Ashton in Makerfield.
Ashton in Makerfield, at their baths, and theirs were boarded over in winter.
Did they empty the pool?
No, the pool was full. They just boarded it over. And
you were, goodness me.
And the situation was the last bus from Ashton then, and I lived where I live now, near where I live now.
Near the M6?
I live actually farther down. I was actually down in Newtown.
Right,
near Newtown.
Right, yeah.
And the only way I could get there was on the bus, so I had to get a bus down to Newtown and then get a bus to Ashton. And the last bus left Ashton at 11 o'clock at night. And I had to have the double bass on. And this conductor was awkward this day because they used to let me put it underneath the stairs on a double-decker bus. Can you remember the double-decker?
I certainly can, yeah.
Anyway,
it was the luggage compartment.
This guy was awkward, and he said, get it upstairs.
Yeah.
So I had to struggle the bass upstairs, and there used to be a shelf over there, and the bass is there with the neck hanging over. And I sat on the back seat with my hand on it, of course, guarding it. And as he went round the corner somewhere, I don't know where it would be, round about Whistling Mittens, the bass started to slip, because the neck was heavier than the body, it started to fall over. And
it's all right. Keep going.
And the situation was the bass started falling down the stairs, and I was following it down trying to stop it. By the time we got stopped the bus, it was like it was just like split wood, 4 strings and a neck, and I could actually carry it under my arm like this, and I carried it down
No,
from Newtown to where I lived,
Yeah.
and that was my career out of the way, and that was finished,
Yeah.
as far as I was concerned.
Well, that's a good point, Bill, to kind of bring us onto the next piece of music that. Because I was thinking that the title of this is called "Crying in the Rain," and if you've been sacked 3 times in the last 10 minutes, like you have, metaphorically, you might be singing a song like this.
She comes up like a rose, but everybody knows she got you in Dutch. Well, you can look, but you better not touch. Poison ivy, poison ivy. Let it know while you're sleeping, poison ivy comes a creeping around. She's pretty as a daisy, but look at man, she's crazy. She'll really do you in if you let her get under your skin. Poison ivy, poison ivy. Let it know while you're sleeping, poison ivy comes a creeping around. Measles make you mubby, mumps will make you love it, chicken pox will make you jump and twitch. Common cold will fool ya, and whooping cough can cool ya. Poison ivy law will make you itch. You're gonna need a notion of calamine lotion. You'll be scratching like a hound the minute that you start to mess around. Poison ivy, poison ivy. Mumps will make you mubby, chicken pox will make you jump and twitch. A common cold will fool ya, and whooping cough can cool ya. Poison ivy law will make you itch. You're gonna need a notion of calamine lotion. You'll be scratching like a hound the minute that you start to mess around. Poison ivy, poison ivy. Let it know while you're sleeping, poison ivy comes a creeping around. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la.
It's a little duo called The Two of Us. No longer are Mitch and Colin Ashton doing the thing anymore. They were band members in the 60s together in a band called Ipso Facto, and then latterly a band called P.A.C.T. And then off they went to the clubs and pubs doing the cabaret circuit, and they'd made quite a living out of it, and I'm delighted to say they enjoyed themselves in the process of doing it. Right, a little advert for you now. The Garswood and Sims Labour Club tomorrow night, Friday the 30th, hosts a hot pot supper and an Xmas bash. I'm not quite sure those two things go together, but that's what they're doing. And Linda Hitchmo has got the thing going, and she's selling tickets at £10. Don't forget, you get a load of good hot pot. And the main feature of the night is that wonderful local band called Boomin'. Young lads who I believe are destined for the absolute toppermost of the popmost, because they are nothing short of sensational. And if they could ever get anywhere near something called the X Factor, which of course they won't because they're too talented. Have I made a disparaging remark there about the X Factor? But that's what everybody seems to do. And real talent here in Boomin'. That's tomorrow night, Garswood and Sims Labour Club. It's not far off, I think, Junction 25 of the M6. So between the East Lancashire Road and the M6. So that's tomorrow night, and we're going to go back to Bill Blackledge, and we're going to take him now from his early band days into the Empress Hall in Wigan on Railway Road. Was it Railway Road? No, it wasn't.
Station
Railway
Road.
Station Road, yes.
Goodness me, I've even forgotten that. And Station Road's not there anymore now. It's been built over by a big
galleries.
shopping.
The galleries.
Galleries, that's it. That's right. Yeah, the galleries. Big shopping. And of course, Wigan Casino's no longer there. That went donkeys years ago, didn't it? Together with the Ritz Cinema, almost opposite. And that between them just about had every top star of the 50s, 60s and 70s appeared there. And Bill's going to take us through now up until a defining moment for Wigan, certainly, was in around about 1964. And Bill had been playing there with his band, and the local groups were becoming popular, weren't they, Bill?
They were. When I moved into the Empress from the Palais de Danse was in 1957.
Yeah.
And that was because the Empress couldn't support a fully professional band at the time.
Yeah.
And so we moved down from the Palais de Danse and augmented the band, brought it up to 12 from 6, and then we took it from there, and we were basically just playing dances.
Yeah.
You know, waltzes, foxtrots, tangos, cha-cha-chas. I think
Well,
we're a bit
like
clever.
The policeman's ball, wasn't it? And the nurses would gather.
Well, Friday nights was
balls.
Friday nights were it was 8 till 1:30, and it was the policeman's ball, Hines, you name it,
people
Pilkingtons.
People would dress up like it was Strictly Come Dancing, wouldn't they?
It was basically a lot
bit-
of them did.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff is so popular now with that programme called Strictly Come Dancing. That's the era it came from, really, isn't it? That when it was, the men would be absolutely pristine, looking like penguins, and the women would be all there in their beautiful gowns and tiaras and things like that, and tripping the light fantastic, wasn't it? That's what it was all about.
I think it was dancing. The difference between dancing now and dancing then is you actually touched.
Yeah, yeah,
The female and the male actually embraced.
yes. Touched.
Now they stand across to each other and shake it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that started to come in. We felt round about I would think now to about 1959, 1960. Elvis was starting to make his move. Around about 55, I would think 57, something like that.
Yeah.
And just occasionally, when there was the interval was on, we'd start to play the odd record, keep the people busy.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. Then the odd group came.
And they play for about 30 minutes.
And we thought,
night,
it took them longer to get set up and to get off than it did actually
That's right.
play.
That's right,
But the lads didn't mind in the band because basically they could stay longer in the pub, in the ship. I mean, that was basically it. These musicians enjoyed themselves, but as far as they were concerned, it wasn't making a living. None of them were professionals at the Empress ever when I was there. They all had other jobs, and a complete range of jobs. That was good. But then when the group started to come in, we saw them a bit of a novelty. And then then I particularly noticed as I was getting towards taking over the band about 1960, 61, they were more popular than we were. We were filling in the gaps, and they were entertaining the people there.
Reversal, wasn't it?
Except the big, as I said, the Friday nights were probably. There was probably 40 Friday nights, big dues, out of the 52.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And the situation there was, it started to change. I felt it was changing, and that's why I changed the band when I took over. It was from Bill Unsworth in his orchestra. It became Bill Blackledge Showband, because I wanted. We changed the dress. We changed the jackets. I mean, we were all in black, of course, full tuxedo and bow tie.
Yeah.
And then in the summer season, the first summer season, we changed and we all wore sweaters. And all the brass had red sweaters on, the saxes had yellow sweaters on, and the rhythm section had green sweaters, and with cabaret twill trousers. And I thought that gave us more brightness on stage. Yeah. And then we started to play our own versions of pop music. And then we made a disastrous decision, that everybody in the band would sing a song. Although we had Dick Taylor, who was a singer, Les Martindale would sing, everybody was going to have to sing some kind of song.
Right. What kind of songs are you talking about here?
Well, we were I remember the one Frank and I did was one called, it started off like, "Don't take me away, down to get the day on the run." So that was the kind of song we were... Anyway.
Yeah, that was a Peter and Gordon song. I've just been racking my brain about that song.
Yes, Peter, it was.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it was that kind of song. Les Martindale started to sing Wooden Heart, and he recorded that. He actually put in the German piece as well.
Yeah.
Dick was always a good singer, and he did German. And then we brought in a young lad from Liverpool who... I don't know how we got hold of him, but he was only 20, and he was a good singer. I thought so we did arrangements to suit him. I know he had a 21-year-old manager, and he stayed with us for a while. And then
you can't remember his name, can it? No.
And
but meanwhile, the rock bands like Tony was turning up with his band. I was turning up with mine.
Oh yes, yeah.
And we were like doing the interval, like you used to say, most of the time, but. I remember playing. I mean, it must have been Friday nights. Seemed to be the big works dues.
They were.
And the policeman ball, the nurses, and you name it. Yeah. And then Saturday night, what did he have? That was like a cabaret kind of.
Saturday was 7 till 11.
Yeah.
And then we played from like 7 till 7:45. The group played from 8 o'clock through till 8:30. Then we would come back.
Yeah.
And the band would sound better. Because they'd been in the pub.
Yeah.
It never sounded any better to me, because I never drank until I was 35. So I didn't drink until I actually left the casino. I never drank alcohol at all.
Right.
But the rest of the lads, I can remember... strange, because we would actually go in early sometimes when we had new pieces to play. We would actually turn up about 7 and rehearse, as it were, go through the parts. And of course the sax section and the trumpet section would argue something's wrong, it's not right, this is bad. And I think that sounds great, playing away, and that sounds great. Anyway, the finish up is, of course, after they'd been to the pub for about 3/4 of an hour, they came back. I thought it sounded worse, and they thought it sounded better. So, it was just a matter of alcohol. But then, of course, it became the casino. We went through the Emperors. By the time it got to the casino, the groups were dominating it, basically.
Yeah. Which
The
was
band,
what
the
year?
band. To
What
me,
year
I
was that?
felt the band was just not filling in, but satisfying a certain need, but not the groups now had really taken over wherever it was, and the casino became a blessing in disguise for us because, of course, then we had true artists on that we had to have a bank hall on Sunday, Lulu. People like that used to come, and then we became more important again for a while. And of course, we had the groups on. We had organ. They had the organ, the drummer. They had a comper. Then it became more comprehensive all the way around.
Yeah.
And I felt that to be honest, when I got towards 1969, two things significantly happened. I changed my engineering job in '67, first of '67. And then the situation was 1969. I felt it was getting too much. I was having to do the records, disc jockeying, run the Beachcomber, and
That was
basically, and I'd actually started a business. I'd actually left Simon's then and started a business.
Yeah. And the manager was a guy called Mr. Jerry Marshall.
Jerry
wasn't
Marshall,
it?
of course.
And,
Yes.
he pulled all the strings, didn't he? And,
He did.
And you worked basically for him, didn't you? And ran the absolute top to bottom of the place, while he sat on his backside, seemingly. That's how it seemed to me.
It would have been good if he'd stayed sat on his backside, but most of the time he was walking towards the stage with a thunder look on his face saying, "Get that bloody group turned down."
That's fantastic.
And I spent 7 years trying to get the groups
Get the
turned
group to
down,
turn down.
and never once did
Yeah.
I succeed.
And there was a particular reason for that, I do know, because Bill told me the story about Jerry sent you out with 25 quid and said, get some records. I went, all right, but don't buy a particular record. Now, what was that particular record he said don't buy?
It was Glad All Over with
He banned every group from playing that.
He banned all the group
Yeah.
playing
Well,
from
that-
Glad
that's
All
what he
Over.
played.
by
Dave Clark 5.
Clark.
Dave Clark 5, Glad
And
All
the
Over.
reason was?
Because everybody stamped the feet on his floor, and it was a sprung floor, and the floor started to go on.
Yeah, and if health and safety had been around, they wouldn't have been able to open up the Emp because it was that gone and rotten. The floor, it was almost ready to collapse. Isn't that right?
It was supported on springs, it
And on
surprisingly.
springs, and it was. Go on, Jerry Marshall. Can we hear you there, Jerry?
Put that round there. What happened was, before the all night just started, they used to get some of the young Northern Soul guys to go and sweep up. And one day this lad was complaining, saying, "Oh, my shoes gone." Excuse me. So Jerry said, "Oh, we can't have that, can we?" And put his hand in his pocket. I was thinking, "Well, he's giving us money, go and get some shoes." He pulled the elastic band out and said, "You put that round."
Jerry Marshall, well known, and he also said to you one night, "We're having a special night, aren't we? We're putting 3 bands on, and we've been selling tickets, and and I know he called you into the office, didn't he, and said." We'll have this special night, so tell us all about that special night of special nights, Bill.
Well, on Monday nights, when the lads had gone to the pub, we used to go upstairs. I used to go into the office, and we would get what we were doing, what was happening Monday, Tuesday, the whole thing, and whose function it was on Friday, what they were expecting, and the situation. He said, "Oh, by the way, I won't need you on Wednesday." Oh, he said, "I want you, but I don't want the band." Simply, he said, "I don't need the band." And I was disappointed. And he said, "No," he said, I'll pay the band." He said, "But we don't need the band there. I just want you." And I said, "Oh, right, what's that?" So he said, we've got the Rolling Stones on." And honestly, I'd never heard of them. I'd just never heard of them.
Well, nobody had.
I don't. And I said to him, "Who?" He said, the bloody Rolling Stones. I said, oh, right. He said, I want you here at 7 o'clock. And that was basically it.
Yeah.
And I thought, so I thought it was just another Wednesday. So 7 o'clock there, I'm driving down Station Road. Well, I thought I was going to drive. I had to drive up Millgate and go all the way around to park on the Central Station car park. And there was thousands there. I mean, there seemed to be thousands there. And I thought, well, somebody knows the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
And literally, it was just even. And we put the Beat Boys on the Beat Boys on the stand at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I think they opened the show.
Yeah.
And the Rolling Stones were in the dressing room at the bottom, and I remember them looking all kinds of scruffy. And
There was a band called the Cheaters on as well.
They finished the show.
Yeah, they were.
They're from Widnes.
Yeah.
I was there myself.
And Tony, can you remember? Give us a little bit about what you can remember about it.
Well, like Bill says, it was absolutely crowded. You know, it packed to the rafters. But I was a big fan of the Beat Boys, and for me, the Beat Boys was the best group on that night.
Yep.
And they opened up the show, like Bill said,
I know,
on the temporary stage.
They played out of the skins that night, didn't they? Because they realised what they had on that show was so special, and they went up a level on that night and played out of the skins.
Absolutely.
And Ronnie was here, Ronnie Carr from the Beat Boys was here 2 or 3 shows ago, telling us that the adrenaline just pumped that night. But you couldn't help it because there was these screaming kids filling up Station Road. I don't think they all got in. They couldn't have all got in. And I don't know, what was the capacity of the...
It's about 1,200.
1,200.
Mm.
So if it was full, there were 1,200 people in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's astonishing, isn't
Oh.
it? And it wasn't seated.
Oh, no, it wasn't
It
seated.
was all like it was a huge dance floor, wasn't it? With the balcony all around on 3 sides.
Yeah.
And the only side it wasn't there, of course,
Was
was
the
where the
stage.
stage was.
Yes.
And 1,200 people ram-packed that place out.
Yeah.
I bet they took a few bob that night, Bill.
I think it was 5 shillings to get in.
Was it 5 shillings to
I
get
think
in?
you've got the poster.
Oh, 5 and
Yeah.
6.
On there.
5
I've got the
shillings.
poster
If you
online.
bought the tickets before, it was 5 shillings.
Yeah.
5 and 6pence at the door.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It was always one to go in that. Yeah. I mean, and you had the job of introducing the bands that night.
Yeah,
didn't you?
and I was getting 30 bob for the night.
30 bob for the night. Yeah, yeah. I wonder how much the Stones got for that night.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
they'd just released a record called Come On, which was a Chuck Berry song, a cover, in other words.
I'm not
And I
far
went
away.
straight out and bought it. As soon as I heard it, and it must have been on Radio Luxembourg or something like that. And I went straight out and bought it, like it was on Philips Records or something like that. And I was playing it to me mates. I don't think I'd left school by then, I think. I think I was about 16 by then. And I certainly wasn't playing in a band, because I couldn't play at that stage. And 2 years later, we were doing the casino, at Wigan Emp, cum casino. I mean, that's the next story, Bill, about taking us through to the era where it left being the Emp and went on to the casino. And then we can clarify forever how it really all took place. But before we do that, we've got the next track for you, and we'll listen to that and then come back and talk to Bill to play out the show.
Hey everybody, let's have some fun. Only for once, and when you're dead, you're done. So let the good times roll. Let the good times roll. Don't care if you're young or old. Just let the good times roll. Don't sit there mumbling, talking trash. If you want to have a ball, you got to go out and spend some cash. So let the good times roll. Let the good times roll. Don't care if you're young or old. Just let the good times roll. Let them roll. Tell everybody, Big Al's back in town. Got $1.25 and I'm ready to clown. But don't let no female sell me cheap. I got 50 cents more than I aim to keep. So let the good times roll. Let the good times roll. Don't care if you're young or old. Just let the good times roll. No matter weather, stormy weather, wanna have a ball, you gotta get yourself together. Don't lose control, just let the good times roll.
Alan Parkinson, lead singer, with none other than the Beat Boys, and Bill and Jerry here remember these guys so well, and that was his version of Let the Good Times Roll, his new CD, and of which I'm playing at home all the time. It is really, really cool, as they might say, in circles other than what I'm used to. But there you go. Tony just said to me, outside of me, he's just said, can I tell a little story about Jerry Marshall while we're here on air? I said, well, of course you can. Fire away, Tony.
Yeah, it was the first time when it was into the casino, as Bill had mentioned, as Saturday nights were cabaret nights. So, and then we got booked to play on a Saturday night. We thought, well, it's cabaret, they'll want us posh. We didn't have stage suits. So we put our Sunday best shirt and ties on, and turned up. They said it's a 20-minute spot. You go on at such a time, say right. So we did our 20 minutes, and they shouted for more, so we give them some more. Then they shouted for more again, and we give them some more. But this time we've been on about 35 minutes. And who comes to the side of the stage but Jerry Marshall screaming, "Will you get off? Will you get off? You've gone over the town, get off." When he said to the electrician, close the curtain on them. Close the curtain. So we're finishing off the song and the curtains are closing on us. The audience are all applauding us and shouting, we want more, we want more. And we just with about 10 seconds of the song left when the curtains actually closed, so we finished the song off behind closed curtains. So when I went for the money later on, he
it
said,
was never a pleasant thing going into Jerry's office for your money.
It certainly
I
wasn't.
remember that.
He said, "What do you think you were playing at, going over the time like that? It runs the rest of the show late." I said, "Well, your audience was asking for more, shouting for more." I said, "You want your customers happy, don't you?" "Well," he said, "I suppose so." He said, "But next time, you come off when you're told."
Right.
I thought, next time, that sounds good. So
getting rebooked. Rebooking you.
The following Saturday, we was pre-booked somewhere else. The Saturday after that, we was back there again, and we was there for several months, every Saturday night. The crowd loved us, we loved them. No travelling.
Yep.
And we just did a 20-minute spot and then watched some of the best cabaret acts in the country.
Yeah.
It was absolutely fabulous.
Can you
We loved
remember
it.
who did a bit of cabaret up there? Can you give us a few names?
Oh,
I remember Bob Monkhouse.
yeah.
Bob Monkhouse was fabulous.
There wasn't.
Yes,
There wasn't.
he was fantastic.
There wasn't television artists,
We were on that
but
night
there
when.
there was top cabaret artists.
Yeah, I know, but I
It was
remember.
all spot on.
Yeah.
It was all good.
Yeah. Bob Monkhouse was just making his break from radio into television at the time, and was still doing the stand-up shows in places like Wigan Casino, in cabaret, you know, and things like that. Yeah, and it's so the Wigan Emp didn't have kind of cater for almost everything in terms of entertainment, Wigan's entertainment, and they used to come from miles around. But then there came the change, the big change, that took the name from Wigan Empress Hall into Wigan Casino, Bill. And how did that come about?
It came about, to me it came as a surprise, but I could see things were having to change. The groups were taking over. Well, what had happened upstairs, they'd taken the band out of the Palliday dance, and now they had organ and drums up there and compere, and they had some very good acts up there. Cannon and Ball was there. I remember being on stage when Cannon and Ball was there, and they obviously in a full tuxedo and a bow tie, and they did an act where Ball came on and started singing, and Cannon was supposed to be a waiter. He came sneaking in with a tray and all this sort, and he'd be shouting around, and the guy was trying to sing, and I remember he came to the stage and he said, "Stop the show," he said, "there's a guy here, there's a bat ravaging his throat," and it was this big bow tie I had on. He was taking the mickey out of this bow tie, and
goodness,
you know, that kind of thing happens, and then we were downstairs, and it wasn't going well. I think we lost Tuesday night, which was all time night, so we were just doing Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays and Saturdays as a band. I was supposed to be doing all the nights, but I got the compere to do some record, and I put a guy called Malcolm Marshall, I think his name was, as a disc jockey for the nights that I didn't want to do. And then what really changed everything as far as I was concerned, things were still going. As an engineer, I'd moved jobs, and I went down to Wales, and I was doing a contract to Wales, and I had to bring in a temporary bass player, and one of the other lads, I think it was Will Fashcroft, ran it while I was there. I was only away 2 weeks, but etc. And then in 1968, I was sent to Poland for 5 weeks, and finished up being in Poland for 5 months. Something like that.
Right.
So,
all with your job, all with your day job.
All with the day job, the machinery. Then I went to Bulgaria, and then I came back. And while I was in Poland, it was interesting. There was one night I went into a restaurant, and there was a quartet, and the music was good, and I thought, God, I'd like to do. And I said to my interpreter, "Go and see if they'll let me sit in." And it turned out that the guitarist, the bass player, was actually a guitarist, but he was playing bass because it was the only job he could get. As soon as I turned up as a bass player, he went back on guitar, and every time I went in there, as soon as I walked in, they were going, "Come on, listen."
Yeah, fantastic.
And I didn't speak Polish very well then, but it didn't matter because music's international.
Absolutely.
So every night I went in for a meal, and they had a great session. They did 3 tunes, and then they had quarter of an hour off, and then they did 3 tunes. So I was going having my suite and coming playing 3 numbers and everything.
Fascinating.
And that was enjoyable. And
yeah. But getting back to the transition from changing the name, the identity, the brand, if you like.
It was because of a tie-up with the I think Outcroft Brothers.
The brewery.
Yeah. The brewery, Outcroft Brewery, and they were running Bolton Casino then.
That's right.
And they tied up, and they decided, and quite wisely decided, that if they had Wigan Casino as well, and Farriman wanted out.
Yeah.
Eddie Farriman, who owned the place, it wasn't Marshall who owned the place, it was Eddie Farriman who owned the place.
Yeah.
And he wanted out, and Marshall wanted to take over, and so the Croft Brothers, and they decided that was it. And that was, I think it was August 1966. Yeah. And the first show that we did was Shirley Bassey and the full with orchestra.
They extended the stage for
I think
Shirley
Wigan
Bassey,
came to a standstill when Shirley Bassey came to town. I remember me Auntie Gladys. She got a ticket. She never went out in her life, but she went out to see Shirley Bassey at the Wigan Casino. And didn't they change the toilet arrangements? And we talked about the posh toilet before.
Yes.
It always got the name the posh toilet. I mean, it was for her, wasn't it? That
I'm not so
they
sure
changed
about that because
toilet. Are you not?
I'm not so sure about that.
Right.
I think it was for Dusty Springfield.
Dusty Springfield. Well,
It was Dusty Springfield, and I remember, and I won't use any bad language, but the guy did, and he said, "What's going on backstage?" I said, "Oh, they're building a new toilet." He said, "I said Dusty Springfield's come in," and he was a bit slating about it, and he made me realise that she wasn't all she should be.
right, yeah.
Without saying too much, and I thought, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
on those things, but it was for Dusty Springfield, definitely.
Right, so that there's again myths and legends and things all get distorted in time, don't they? And I'm glad you put that.
Until the casino came to operation, the fire room was never used.
Yeah, that's right.
It was never used. We just
Groups
used.
were never allowed in it, were they?
That's right.
No,
You know,
No,
that
that's
be the
right.
top artists.
Yeah, and it's just about seeing everybody and, like I say, everything. Well, thanks, Bill, for everything you've told us about. Is there anything else before we kind of wind up the evening?
There's lots of funny occasions, but I think I've covered it most
Yeah,
in that writing. But
Yeah.
the one thing I would say that I
Yeah.
learned at the Empress was the professionalism of most of the pros that came, the pro groups.
Yeah.
Gino Washington. I mean, we had a lot of groups coming through that looked like they'd been dragged in down the street, but as soon as they went on stage, they suddenly went, and they were professional, absolute professionals. I've mentioned in that write-up about the bandwagon when they first came. The bandwagon was a super situation.
Jimmy James and the bandwagon.
It was called the bandwagon,
Yeah,
and it
just
came on
called
the running
bandwagon.
order, and I had
Yeah.
them there, the bandwagon, and I thought, right, and I don't know whether Tony's read that, but they finished up, and they were all in beautiful blue outfits, red piping, all the coloured guys, all with the hair and everything. And when I went backstage, they were fighting. I mean, there was a fight going on. I mean, it wasn't an argument. It was a fight, literally a fight.
Yeah.
And I shouted, I said, "You're on in 5, you're on in 5,
Fantastic.
you're on in 2.
Yeah.
And they came out, their band was on the backstage. Nothing had happened.
Yeah.
Absolute professional acts. Running down the walls of Hart.
There's that
Came back off 40 minutes later, battling again.
coming from you, Bill. Coming from you, you saw it all. You saw them all.
It was
you saw the worst, the best, the brilliant, and the rubbish.
And it
you
was
saw
fu-
it all, and that's a nice thing to say about your musician colleagues.
It was fun.
Thank you very
F-
much.
far
On
as I'm
behalf of all
concerned, it
those
was fun.
people. Yeah, thank you very much for saying that. You can catch up with Bill's missive, if you like, on Lanky Beat. If you go on to Lankyland map, it's called, or the Lankyland special features, you'll scroll down, find Bill Blackledge, click on, and you'll find his full story, parts 1, 2 and 3. And we're still waiting for the fourth one, aren't we, Tony?
Yes.
Shall we nail him down now
Yes.
for his fourth?
He's got to
and
promise us
final
he's got to do
part
it.
of that story.
I keep looking every month for it.
Promise it for January.
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh,
And
you've
we'll
heard it
look
now.
forward to that. Fantastic. Tony, thanks very much for everything.
I've enjoyed it.
Marvellous,
Glad to be here.
marvellous. I've had a great time. I've only got to know you within the last 12, 18 months,
Yeah,
haven't I? I
yeah.
mean, both of you. And I didn't know you in the 60s, Tony, but I knew Bill,
Yeah,
but I
we
didn't
played,
know Bill.
We played together at a casino.
I know we have, but we didn't know
Yeah.
each other.
No, I didn't know each other
I
personally.
know, but and it's a real pleasure at this stage in life. And one of the pleasures that Lanky Beat and Lanky Cats are bringing to people and pulling people together. And this is something I never thought about when I was kind of getting my first bands onto Lanky Beat website. What would happen? And it's just brought so much friendship
Yeah.
and camaraderie together.
It's unbelievable what you've achieved. It's
I know,
just fantastic.
I know.
Absolutely fantastic.
And pulling nearly 8,000 visitors a month now. is Lanky Beat. 7. We'll do 7 this month. We went really well last month, and I thought, oh, we're going to exceed 8,000 next month, but we've not. It's a shame, but we've not managed it. It doesn't matter. There's still 7,000 people somehow, some way, managing to click on and have a little dabble at it. And less so is Lanky Cats. They're about 2,000 visitors a month. So between them, we've like 5 figures. We've 10,000 clicks going on to 2 websites.
It's fantastic.
And
we could do with some of them turning up at Lanky Cats now.
Well, you know, what did we got last time?
109.
109 turned up.
Yeah, we're averaging over 100.
Yeah.
You know, and the atmosphere, believe me, is fantastic.
Yeah.
If you want a good night out, good groups, good 60s groups, come to Lanky Cats at the Unity Club at Standish.
I couldn't sum it up better myself. Fantastic. Thank you very, very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. I've had a great time tonight. I'm Bill Hart, and I'm presented by me. The Lanky Beat Show has been produced by Diane Herring, and thank you very much, Diane, as always. Wonderfully professional touches here and there and all through, and we hope that you'll tune in to us, listen once more, and whenever we can get the programme going again, which will probably be in a couple of weeks' time. But meanwhile, we'll play you out with Unchain My Heart.
My funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine, you make me smile with my heart. Your looks are laughable, unphotographable, but you're my favorite work of art. Is your figure less than Greek? Is your mouth a little weak? When you open it to speak, are you smart? Don't change your hat for me, not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine, stay. Each day is Valentine's Day. Is your figure less than Greek? Is your mouth a little weak? When you open it to speak, are you smart? Don't change your hat for me, not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine, stay. Each day is Valentine.